Ann-Margret had secrets that she kept hidden behind her smile. She was in Hollywood for a time, and there were things that happened to her that most people did not know about. When Ann-Margret was 84 years old, she told people about the 5 actors she did not like. She talked about some things that happened to her and some people who were not very nice to her. This shows that being famous is not always easy and fun. Ann-Margret's life was actually very complicated. People did not really know what she was going through. She was very strong and able to deal with all the things that happened to her. People really loved Ann-Margret because she was a redhead who had a lot of energy on the screen. She seemed like someone you could not touch. She was very charming and strong. Behind her smile, Ann-Margret had been quiet for a long time. She had a weight on her that she carried around while everyone thought her life was perfect. When Ann-Margret talked at the age of 80, for it was not just surprising, it was also a time for her to face the truth. Ann-Margret finally shared memories that she had kept hidden for a time, and she showed the bad side of Hollywood. Ann-Margret kept secrets for long because she had to in order to survive. For a time, movie studios were like safe places where powerful men could do what they wanted. These men controlled people's careers, told them what to do. Women had to be nice and quiet even when bad things happened to them. If a woman spoke out when she was young, people might think she was hard to work with. That would be very bad for her career. So she kept quiet, got to keep working, but she had to hide a lot of her feelings and thoughts. Movie studios were places where powerful men had all the power and women had to do what they were told. Women, like her, had to smile and be quiet even when they were unhappy. Her silence was really hard on her. Sometimes she would lie awake at night thinking about all the things she was not saying. This made her feel uneasy, and it did not matter how much people clapped for her, she still felt bad. People saw her in movies like Bye Bye Birdie and Viva Las Vegas with Elvis Presley. They thought she was happy. They did not know that being perfect was really tough for her. When she gave interviews, she would sometimes talk about how hard things were for her, about the pain and the accidents. She never told the whole story. The weight of keeping all these secrets was a deal for her. Now the decision to speak up is a deal for her, and it is like she is finally free. This is happening because the people around her are starting to listen, and younger women are being brave and talking about what happened. As Ann got older, she realized that if she did not tell her story, nobody else would. For a time, not saying anything kept her safe, but now it seems like it could make people forget what really happened to her. Hollywood likes to make its stars sound perfect. It does not like to talk about their mistakes, and wants people to know everything about her life, the things and the bad things, so that people who want to be stars in the future know what they might have to go through. Getting older made and brave enough to talk about her life, about the things that happened to her, and she wants to make sure that people remember her story, the story of Ann. The studios do not scare her anymore. The studios have lost their power over her. Many of the men she talks about are no longer around. This means the studios and these men are not holding her back. She can finally say what she thinks and feel okay about it. She can talk about things without being afraid of what the studios and these men will say. The truth is that what she has to say might surprise people. She is going to say it anyway. The studios and the men are not stopping her from being honest. Number 1. James Woods. Back in the 1970s, Ann-Margret was ready to change how people saw her. She wanted to do serious work and show everyone that she was not just a playful and seductive person. Then she worked with James Woods, and it was a bad experience. James Woods is famous for his intense acting, but he also brought a lot of unpredictability to the set. This made the people working on the movie feel like they were in a trap of a place where they could be creative. At first, there were some signs that something was wrong, like the crew members not looking at each other, and everyone feeling tense. People thought maybe Ann-Margret was just being paranoid. It turned out to be more than that. James Woods and his behavior were making the set a difficult place to be. Something strange happened too, and during a night when someone gave her a video. The video was not very clear. It showed that someone had taken pictures of her without her knowing. This really upset her because she felt like someone had invaded her life. The people in charge did not do much to help her, they just told her not to worry about it. They stopped working on the project. Even though this did not hurt Wood's career, it really hurt Ann. She had to deal with it on her own, and had to be very careful in Hollywood. She did not trust everyone, she only worked with people she trusted, and she always wondered who was watching her, and had to be careful with every camera and every look, and only felt safe with people she really knew. The fact that she finally named Woods shows that people with a lot of power were able to do what they wanted in a system that did not let women speak up. This system was really bad for women because it did not let them say what was happening to them. The naming of Woods is a deal because it shows that women were not being heard. Number 2, Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen was a deal. He was like a king in Hollywood. Steve McQueen had a lot of charm. He was really good at doing crazy things like riding motorcycles. He would take Ann on these motorcycle rides, and at first she thought it was really fun. After a while, Ann started to see that Steve McQueen had a bad temper. He would get really jealous. That would make him act mean. Even small things would make him mad. They would have big fights. One time they went on a boat trip, and Steve McQueen got really angry. It was very scary. He hurt Ann. That made her realize she had to be more careful. After that, Ann made sure to set limits and be careful around people like Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen was a person, and Ann learned a lot from being around him. Naming McQueen allowed her to take back control of her story. This was a deal because it showed that even someone like McQueen, who was really famous and successful, could have secrets that were really sad and scary. These secrets were even darker than what people thought was possible. Naming McQueen was a way for her to reclaim her story and show that even the brightest stars, like McQueen, can have shadows. Number 3, Frank Sinatra. He was a big deal in the 1960s. Frank Sinatra was very sophisticated and powerful. When Ann met Frank Sinatra, she thought he was amazing. She really looked up to him. Frank Sinatra was not what he seemed. He was actually very controlling. What he said sounded like advice, but it was really a way for him to get what he wanted. Frank Sinatra would tell Ann what to do. He did it in a way that was hard to notice. When Ann tried to do her thing, Frank Sinatra would get back at her. He would make it so she could not get jobs, and her friends would not want to help her anymore. Frank Sinatra did all of this without people realizing it. He had a lot of connections, and people would listen to him. He could ruin someone's career by whispering something to the right person or by making them sign a contract that was not fair. Speaking out decades later forced recognition of the darker side of a man idolized by millions. Number 4, Elvis Presley. When Ann was working on the movie Viva Las Vegas, she met Elvis Presley. They started a romance. This romance was really exciting for the people who watched them. There were some bad things about it too. At first, Ann thought Elvis Presley was really charming and nice to her. Then she saw that he got really jealous and wanted to control her all the time. Elvis Presley would get very angry when they disagreed about things. One time he even pushed her, and the people who worked on the movie saw it. They just said it was a misunderstanding. When they were not filming, Elvis Presley tried to scare Anna's family and tell her what to do with her career. Elvis Presley wanted to be in charge of everything. Walking away from Elvis meant reclaiming her autonomy, prioritizing freedom over fear, and revealing the true cost of proximity to a cultural icon. Number 5, Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe is an example of this. Ann-Margret looked at Monroe, saw the bad things that can happen in Hollywood. Monroe was really beautiful and famous. She was also very fragile, and people took advantage of her. The movie studios and powerful men controlled Monroe's life. They did not listen to what she had to say. They just wanted to sell this image of her. This made Ann-Margret think carefully about her career. She wanted to play kinds of roles and not be stuck playing the same thing all the time. What happened to Marilyn Monroe showed Ann-Margret that being famous can be very dangerous. It taught her that to survive in Hollywood, you have to be quiet and pay attention to what's going on around you, or else you can get hurt. Marilyn Monroe's story was like a warning to Ann-Margret. So Ann talked about a man who worked behind the scenes. This man was like a person who could make or break careers. Nobody really knew his name. He was not like movie stars, because his power came from being invisible. He could make things happen by whispering to people using photos and talking to them in private. Because of him, some people did not get parts in movies, some projects were. People who were once friends stopped being friends. And is now 84 years old. She is speaking out. She is not doing this to get back at anyone. To make things clear, now that she is older, she is not afraid of what people will think. She can finally tell her story. Talk about the people who helped bad things happen, like Woods, McQueen, Sinatra, Presley, and this man who worked behind the scenes. Her confessions changed the way people think about her. She was a star in the 1960s and 1970s. That is not all. The confessions of her also show that she was a brave woman. She faced the things that scared her and tried to quiet her. These things used to be a problem for her, but she was brave and dealt with them. Her confessions show that she was a woman who was not afraid to talk about her problems. Which part of Ann-Margret's story strikes you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights into Hollywood's hidden truths.